Beyond the Gates spoilers for Wednesday, September 10th, tease an emotionally filled day in Fairmont, Crest. The kidnapper makes a bizarre request, while Ted confronts Nicole. Plus, Smitty and Martin reconnect, while another couple inches closer to each other. Read on for Soap Opera News' full breakdown of the day's events. Ted isn't ready to let go of his marriage to Nicole, not by a long shot. Despite everything that's happened, he continues to stall the divorce. Deep down, Ted knows he's to blame for their marriage falling apart. But while he's holding on, Nicole is more than ready to move on. Today. Pronto. After pulling a shady move against Leslie, perhaps Ted hoped it would score him some points or put him back in Nicole's good graces. If so, he miscalculated badly. Nicole sees through the stunt, and when Ted realizes his latest move has backfired, he finally confronts her. But instead of reconciliation, this confrontation may push them further apart than ever. Allison has already proven she's dangerously unhinged, kidnapping Chelsea, holding her hostage, and even forcing her into a mock wedding ceremony. It was twisted, over the top, and downright terrifying. But according to Beyond the Gates spoilers for September 10th, things can get even stranger. Now that Allison is in police custody, she makes a bizarre request. What could she possibly want? And why now? Is it a last-ditch manipulation tactic? Her demands are bound to have a direct impact on everyone involved in this disturbing ordeal. Elsewhere in Fairmont, Crest, familiar connections begin to shift. Smitty and Martin, who've experienced a rocky few weeks, finally start to find common ground again. Whether it's forgiveness, understanding, or something deeper, the two share a moment that could mark the beginning of a renewed bond. But they're not the only ones growing closer. Another couple inches towards something more. Who could it be? So, were you hoping Ted's latest move would make him and Nicole reconnect? Sound off in the comments section below. Get more BTG spoilers here. Beyond the Gates airs weekdays on CBS. In Beyond the Gates spoilers for Sept. 10, the kidnapper makes a bizarre request. Ted confronts Nicole when his efforts aren't rewarded. Smitty and Martin reconnect while another couple inches closer to each other. After the hostage situation, Allison is taken in by the cops. There's no confirmation of that happening, especially since Nicole refuses to forgive Ted. Beyond the Gates spoilers for Tuesday, September 9th, indicate Chelsea Hamilton will have an uphill battle ahead, as Tomas Navarro will have a dilemma to figure out. Chelsea was rescued during the Monday, September 8th episode, but considering the trauma that Allison placed her through, it'll be hard for the purse designer social media influencer to just move on with her life. In fact, Anita Dupree and Vernon Dupree will worry that Chelsea has been pushed to her limits, so it sounds like she'll struggle in the aftermath of her kidnapping. Speaking of, Chelsea's parents, Bill Hamilton and Danny Dupree, have gotten super close during their daughter's stalker crisis. BTG spoilers hint that Naomi Hawthorne will catch a moment between the two that she won't approve of. Could Bill and Danny share a kiss? It would seem odd that a hug or embrace would rub Naomi the wrong way, so fans will have to tune in to see what happens. In other news, Beyond the Gates spoilers for Tuesday imply that someone will ask Tomas for help to fight the Dupree family. This has Leslie and Eva Tomas written all over it, especially considering what went down during the September 8th show. Ted Richardson duped Leslie into believing that he was going to give her the mansion that he and Nicole Richardson shared during their marriage. This was all in an effort to get her to stop trying to buy the house across the street from Vernon and Anita. When Leslie realized Ted had pulled the wool over her eyes, she felt humiliated and got very emotional. Eva wasn't happy with the way Ted stopped Leslie from the home purchase. Sure, she had asked for his assistance in trying to convince Leslie against the idea, but the tactics he used were awful in Eva's eyes. Now it looks like Eva may turn to Tomas for some legal help, but will the lawyer be willing to stick his neck out for them? After all, Bill is his boss, and while he hasn't always seen eye to eye with Vernon, it's hard to believe he'd okay Tomas leading a lawsuit on his former parents-in-law and grandparents to his kids. In addition, Beyond the Gates spoilers remind fans that despite Tomas being fond of Eva, he's not so fond of her that he'd go against his girlfriend Catherine Cat Richardson's family. He knows the very thought would have her reeling too. If you caught wind of the rumor mill buzzing that Colby Muhammad was leaving Beyond the Gates and her fan-favorite role as Kat Richardson, deep breath. Soap Opera News is happy to report it's completely false. After a short 2-week break from the show, Muhammad made her return loud and clear on Instagram with a playful post set to Diamond and Dada's track, She's Back. The video cheekily read, POV, walking onto set after hearing rumors that I'm leaving the show. And her caption clearly explained, it was just a 2-week vacation, guys, iconic. Understandably, these types of rumors pop up all the time, especially when an actor goes MIA on social media or posts from a different location than where their show is filmed. And while it's easy for fans to panic, this one had no legs. Thankfully, Colby's not going anywhere. And that's music to our ears because we love us some Kat Richardson. And based on fan reactions, we're definitely not the only ones. In the comment section of Colby's IG post, fans wasted no time expressing their relief. One user, Karen, wrote, So, to answer the question on everyone's mind, no, Colby Muhammad is not leaving Beyond the Gates. She just took a quick, well-earned vacay. And now she's back and ready to stir the pot. Be sure to catch all new episodes of Beyond the Gates this week on CBS to see what happens next, especially with the aftermath of Kat's bestie and cousin Chelsea's dramatic rescue. Are you breathing a sigh of relief too? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let us know how you really feel about this rumor. Photo credit, Quantrell Colber, CBS Broadcasting Inc. No, Colby Muhammad is not leaving Beyond the Gates. She simply took a 2-week vacation and is now back on set. The rumors about her exit are completely false. Rumors started circulating after Colby was seen in a different location and took a short break from filming. Fans speculated she was leaving, but it was just a vacation. Colby Muhammad plays the beloved Kat Richardson, a fan-favorite character known for her fierce loyalty, quick wit, and emotional depth. Brand new episodes air all week on CBS. Don't miss it, especially to catch the aftermath of Chelsea's dramatic rescue. Beyond the Gates spoilers for fall hint at some exciting weeks and months ahead, as The Bold and the Beautiful's Ridge Forrester is set to do a crossover storyline, plus, a new character is slated to debut. Not to mention, 2 people's lives will change forever, thanks to some lies and a fatality, so it's time to talk about what fans can expect from the new CBS soap in the days and weeks ahead. First things first, Danny Dupree and Andre Richardson will head on a trip together, which has them in Ridge's orbit. Danny has recently opened a modeling agency and is the lead model that the company is plugging. So will Danny and Andre's trip be one for business or pleasure? Will they head to LA? Could Forrester Creations be interested in Danny as a spokesperson or a model to show off their designs? In other news, Isaiah Hawthorne, Jacob Hawthorne's brother, will debut sometime in the fall. As of this writing, no air date has been announced, but BTG spoilers note that Isaiah will get mixed up in 2 complicated relationships, which will create a ton of drama in Fairmont Crest. Speaking of Jacob, he and his wife Naomi Hawthorne will be on opposite sides of an issue. From the sounds of it, they won't be the only married couple dealing with problems, as it sounds like Anita Dupree and Vernon Dupree will also face some tests where their marriage is concerned. On a good note, Bradley Smitty Smith and Martin Richardson will work to repair their romance, so it sounds like these 2 may get things back on track. Across town, things will get hot and heavy for Nicole Richardson and Carlton Fitzgerald, so how will Ted Richardson feel about this? Elsewhere, the lives of both Vanessa McBride and Ashley Morgan will forever change. And Beyond the Gates spoilers suggest this is due to a demise and some lies. It sounds like someone's chapter is ending in Fairmont Crest, so who will meet their maker before the fall season ends? Only time will tell. Lastly, Eva Thomas and Catherine Kat Richardson will continue to battle it out for Tomas Navarro's attention, which is puzzling considering how Kat's gotten the ick for her boyfriend since becoming intimate. Beyond the Gates, spoilers remind fans that Kat is pretty stubborn, so knowing that her sister is waiting in the wings for her to break up with Tomas might be reason enough for her to string the lawyer along for a little while more. Here's what went down Monday, September 8th, 2025, on Beyond the Gates. When Nicole gave a lesson in homeownership, Haley once again wasn't the goose in the Dupree family's game of duck, duck, goose. and Bill waved a rainbow flag. On Beyond the Gates, Eva was shocked to hear that Ted had been able to talk Leslie out of buying the house across from Anita and Vernon. When Leslie had been poor, Eva said, she had already been impossible, but she was worse now that she had come into money. Ted had concurred that it had been a quest for Leslie to live in Fairmont Crest, and that she had tied her entire self-worth into it. Eva didn't want details about how Ted had prevented the purchase, but Ted held on to hope that the Duprees would see him differently after doing something to offset the humiliation Nicole had suffered because of him. Nicole didn't believe that Ted had given Leslie her house. Leslie tore into Nicole for making Ted feel like the scum of the earth over something that happened 1,000 years ago, and determined that Ted presenting her with the home that had been so meaningful to Nicole had been born of revenge. Nicole flattened Leslie by announcing that she owned the house, not Ted, which meant Ted couldn't sign it over to anyone. Leslie seethed as Nicole realized Ted had played Leslie by giving her exactly what she wanted. Nicole relished Leslie falling flat on that over-made-up face of yours. Leslie's voice broke as she called Ted, "that son of a bitch." Hearing that Nicole was in the thick of whatever Ted had done, Eva changed her mind about wanting to know the particulars. Just then, the furious Leslie knocked on Eva's hotel room door and stopped mid-sentence when she found Ted in the suite. Ted grinned as Leslie barked that she had never been so humiliated in her life. He admitted to Eva that he had made a fool of Leslie because Leslie had been greedy and heartless in trying to take even more from Nicole than she already had. Eva was stunned that Ted had promised Leslie his house. Leslie was devastated that Ted had arranged it so Nicole would have to be the one to deliver the news that Ted didn't even own it. "A plan worthy of your own demented logic, wasn't it?" Ted replied, offering a chef's kiss. Leslie could barely catch her breath as she flamed Ted for orchestrating her embarrassment, but he countered that she had done the same by plotting against him and Nicole for decades, instead of calling any time to tell him that he had a child by her. Ted exclaimed that Leslie didn't have the right to be incensed after what she had done. After Leslie excused herself to the washroom, Eva was angry, agreeing she had asked Ted to halt Leslie's home buying, but adding that she had never wanted him to go to such lengths. Ted was unashamed to have saved the Duprees from Leslie, and noted that he had also saved Leslie from herself. "She's my mother," Eva declared, disgusted that her father had dragged her mother through the mud. "So you did it to both of us." Though Eva wanted him to apologize to Leslie, Ted refused. Citing the stunts Leslie had pulled since returning to D.C., Eva couldn't stomach Ted saying Leslie had gotten what she deserved. She threw Ted out of her room, barely biting off, "Who are you right now?" Leslie emerged from the bathroom, having heard Ted's exit line warning Eva to be more careful about what she asked for in the future. Eva pivoted, wanting to know if Leslie were okay. Leslie submitted that she wasn't. She was appalled that she had allowed Ted to get one up over her. Eva was certain that Leslie had been hurt by his action as well. To Leslie, Ted's offer had made sense. She figured Ted had become so frustrated with Nicole that gifting her his house had been almost like a relief valve. Eva observed that she had never seen Leslie so vulnerable. Eva apologized, but Leslie knew that her daughter hadn't had anything to do with Ted's deception. Ms. Tomas divulged that she had merely wanted the Duprees to take her seriously and to stop viewing her as a low-class joke. Leslie cried that she was somebody. I am somebody," she wept as Eva comforted her. Knowing that the Duprees always had Bill as their first line of defense, Eva suggested that she be Leslie's. Eva accepted that she had been regular about pulling Leslie back, but she decided that Leslie had a right to live wherever she chose. Plus, Leslie was entitled to the money that Anita had laid aside out of her own guilt for doing Barbara out of the articulates. Leslie, listening as Eva vowed to stand beside her, was happy that she had her daughter back. Vernon thanked the FBI for their help in finding Chelsea. But asked for more, as the purse designer had been missing a full day. Bill invited Haley into the Dupree compound. He showed Danny a little box he'd had Haley pull from a closet, which contained Chelsea mementos, including a childhood drawing she'd done. Kat checked in with the family, explaining over a choppy video call that she, Jacob, and Madison were in Virginia, on their way to the cabin, where they suspected Allison was holding Chelsea. Chelsea's relatives heard Madison imploring Jacob to drive faster. Vernon and Naomi insisted that Jacob and the others couldn't simply descend on the crime scene without backup. It was too dangerous. Just as Kat agreed to text them the address of the cabin, she yelled, "Jacob, look out for that truck!" Everyone lost the signal, and any calls to Kat or Jacob went straight to their voicemails. Naomi feared that they had been in an accident. Haley tried to be reassuring, stating that reception in the woods would be spotty, but Danny had an anxiety attack. Bill encouraged his ex-wife to have faith that Kat, Jacob, and Madison were all right and that they would be able to get to Chelsea. Haley watched as the shaky Danny fell into Bill's arms. Likewise, Anita exhorted Naomi to hold on to hope for Chelsea's sake. Allison was upset to hear that Chelsea didn't love her, but grabbing the cake-covered butcher knife, she swore that no one else could have Chelsea either if she couldn't. "Crazy-ass bitch, I've had it with you!" Chelsea shrieked as Allison came at her with the weapon. Chelsea managed to force Allison to drop the knife, and the women struggled on the bed. Allison got loose and lunged for the blade, while Chelsea grabbed her ankle to keep her from getting to it. Then, Chelsea, declaring she wasn't going to be Allison's victim anymore, wrapped the chain attached to her handcuffs around Allison's neck. Chelsea pulled tighter on the shackles, while Allison cried that Chelsea didn't have it in her to continue. Jacob burst through the door and pulled Allison away from Chelsea, who yelled that Allison had tried to kill her. Kat and Madison rushed to Chelsea to see if she was hurt and promised her the ordeal was over. Jacob had Allison in handcuffs. Chelsea wanted to go home that moment, but Madison and Kat were adamant that she let herself be greenlit by paramedics first. Chelsea, her cousin, and her girlfriend exchanged information about how the cabin had been discovered and how Allison had nabbed Chelsea. When Chelsea relayed how the only way she could keep Allison from going completely off the rails was to marry her, Allison wailed that she loved Chelsea, but Jacob shut her up. Chelsea fell apart trying to explain how she had tried to follow the advice of Madison and her family. "She almost turned me into a killer," Chelsea sobbed, unsure how far she would have gone to subdue her captor. As Jacob moved to take Allison away, Chelsea told her that the only feeling she had for her was pity. Then Chelsea collapsed in Madison's arms. Kat called the Duprees and told them Chelsea was safe. She would be taken to the hospital to be sure she had no physical injuries. Bill, Haley, and Danny darted out to meet Chelsea there, while Vernon, Anita, and Naomi hugged, overjoyed. At Garland Memorial, Danny texted Nicole, feeling that there may be some things that Chelsea could only share with a psychiatrist. Haley expressed to Bill how relieved she was for both him and his daughter. Chelsea was wheeled in from the elevator and reunited with her loved ones. Anita allowed herself to cry once holding her granddaughter tight. As press gathered in the facility's lobby, Chelsea was grateful to Madison for not putting her in a hospital room, since, after being held captive on a bed, the idea of lying in one was unappealing. Kat understood that Chelsea would want privacy, but also informed her cousin that she would be inundated with relatives who wanted to spend time with her. After Kat left, Chelsea told Madison that she was the only one she really wanted to have around. Madison felt Chelsea should let her family, who had pulled together in their search for her, love on her for a while. Once given clearance, Danny rushed in to see Chelsea. Bill was right behind her, but advised Haley to stay behind, as he was wary of Chelsea being overwhelmed. Haley stood alone as Kat was surrounded by Duprees, who wanted to know how Chelsea had been located. Chelsea told her parents how Allison had spent years stalking her. When Bill piped up that he had been worried about exactly that outcome when Chelsea had started modeling, Danny pulled him back. However, Bill revealed to Chelsea that he thought Madison was amazing. That he was happy she was in his daughter's life. Chelsea sheepishly reported that she had planned on telling Bill about her sexual identity. Danny handed Chelsea the drawing she'd made when she was little. Chelsea was touched that Bill had kept it. Ted visited Nicole, who hadn't been glad to be pulled into the game Ted had been playing with Leslie. Ted confessed that he'd taken the chance to help the family and stick it to Leslie at the same time. Nicole couldn't deny that Ted had done a good thing finally, and reasoned that her not knowing about his plot had helped her to react more naturally when Leslie had come over to gloat about taking over the house. Nevertheless, Nicole had trouble reconciling Ted seemingly heralding a battle by stalling their divorce with his elaborate act to ruin Leslie's prospect to become her parents' neighbor. Ted didn't want to get into their issues with Chelsea just having been found. Nicole thanked Ted and asked him if he wanted to accompany her to the hospital to see her rescued niece. Ted assented, astonished. Haley intercepted Naomi as she was about to call Jacob, appearing desperate to talk to someone about the torment of Chelsea's disappearance. When Haley gushed that the emergency had made everyone a little closer, Naomi asked Haley to stop trying to use her as a way back into the family, especially since she had to be feeling insecure about Bill spending so much time with Danny. The defeated Haley walked away as Danny and Bill emerged. Bill accepted Danny's gratitude for his help and went off in search of his wife. Meanwhile, Vernon and Anita looked in on Chelsea and marveled at her fortitude. The granddad assured Chelsea that Allison would never be able to come near her again, and the grandma offered to help Chelsea get the purse launch back on track. For her part, Chelsea wanted victory over Allison by seeing to things herself. Anita hailed the statement as the Dupree and Chelsea coming out. Nicole arrived at the hospital with Ted in tow, sickened by Chelsea's trauma, but not happy that amateur sleuth Kat had put herself at risk. Kat was convinced that Chelsea would have done the same for her. In Chelsea's room, the returned kidnap victim hinted that she should have been a lawyer like Naomi, which would have kept the crazies away. Naomi announced that her little sister was born for the spotlight and demurred when Madison peeked in. Sure, the couple wanted their own time together. With Naomi gone, Madison affirmed her love for Chelsea and let her know it was okay to move on from what had happened. Chelsea reciprocated the love and embraced Madison, looking doubtful. Beyond the Gates spoilers for Tuesday, September 9th, suggest some major moments in Fairmont Crest as Naomi Hawthorne disapproves of something, while Anita Dupree and Vernon Dupree worry. Plus, Tomas Navarro may have a battle in front of him. Read on to learn more about what to expect next on the CBS soap, Beyond the Gate. Spoilers for Tuesday, September 9th, hint that Naomi will witness a moment between her parents, and she won't like what she sees. What will go down between Bill Hamilton and Danny Dupree that garners Naomi's disapproval? The exes have gotten close as of late, bonding over Bill's medical emergencies and the aftermath of Martin Richardson's secret being revealed. Surely whatever Naomi sees has more to do with more than a mere hug or embrace, so only time will tell. Across town, Anita and Vernon worry they pushed the limits of someone within the family. This could be about Chelsea Hamilton's kidnapping/rescue, but then again, with all the drama Nicole Richardson has dealt with recently, the Dupree parents may feel as if they've always pushed their eldest daughter to be the perfect one over the years, and accepted Danny as the wild child of the family, of heat. Still, maybe this is about the expectations they've always had of Martin. Lastly, Beyond the Gates, spoilers for Tuesday imply that Toys will be asked to fight the Dupree family. It sounds like Eva Thomas could turn to her friend for some legal advice. But is this something Toss would consider taking on? After all, his boss is Bill Hamilton, the former son-in-law of the Duprees, and while Bill has a complicated relationship with the family, he'd never go as far as to battle them in court. Will Eva ask him to represent her outside the firm? Would Tomas consider this? It sounds like career suicide. What storyline are you most looking forward to during Tuesday's show? Share your thoughts. Tune into the CBS Soap Daily and check out CTS often for the best Beyond the Gates updates, spoilers, and news. Can they make their marriage work? The Beyond the Gates spoilers for Wednesday, September 10th, 2025, suggest that Smitty and Martin will reconnect. However, they're not the only couple that's getting closer together. Smitty and Martin have been through so much lately. Martin's past and June's reveal tested their family. They're trying to navigate their footing once again. Will this couple be able to reconcile and move on from the past? The two will share an impactful moment that will renew their strong bond. But of course, it's a soap opera, which suggests they're not the only couple that's growing closer together. Another couple will get inches closer to each other, which could bring confusing emotions to the mix. Who could it be? Reconciliation is not in the future for Ted and Nicole, who get into a heated argument. Ted feels that his efforts aren't being rewarded, which causes him to confront Nicole. Out of sheer pettiness, Ted will undoubtedly continue to stall the divorce proceedings. Ted's ego is eating at him. He's aware that he's to blame for their marriage ending, but he wants to hold on as much as possible. Meanwhile, Nicole has been ready to leave him ever since she found out the truth. Allison kidnapped Chelsea and held her hostage. She even dressed up in a wedding gown and tried to force her to marry her. But this next request is even more bizarre. This storyline is already insane. We don't know how much crazier it can get. Thankfully, Chelsea was found safe, and Allison ended up in police custody, but she will try to manipulate her, even from behind bars. This disturbing request will catch everyone off guard, so there's no guessing what Allison could do next. Beyond the Gates spoilers suggest some major moments during the week of September 8 to 12, and there are also some casting changes to talk about. Who's coming and who's going on the CBS soap over the next 5 days? Read more below. Beyond the Gates spoilers for the week of September 8th. Note that fans will see Samantha Richardson, played by Naja Jackson, take center stage. Added teasers imply that she'll scheme, and as the girl is very good-natured and has only plotted to bring her two dads together, this might be the goal for her scheming next week. Bradley Smitty Smith and Martin Richardson will continue to reconnect over the next 5 days, so perhaps Samantha will do something to help nudge their reunion along. Then again, Samantha's scheming could center around her biological mom, June, so fans will have to tune in to find out what the young girl is up to and who she'll be plotting against. Over at the deserted cabin, it looks like Allison, played by Brianna Roberts, will continue her run as Chelsea Hamilton's unhinged ex-girlfriend turned stalker turned kidnapper. The good news is that Chelsea will be rescued at some point during the week of September 8 to 12. The interesting news is that it seems uncertain whether Allison's storyline will wrap up after this week. A BTG promo that was released during the week of September 1-5 hints that this may not be the end of the road for Allison, after all. Fans are expecting her impending arrest as she did stalk Chelsea, kidnap her, taunt her at the cabin, and things will turn violent early on next week. However, there could be a chance that Allison is released from police custody on a legal stipulation. This is the land of soaps, right? Are you pumped about the week of September 8 to 12? Comment below. Watch your favorite CBS soap daily and check out CTS often for the best Beyond the Gates spoilers, news, and updates. She remembers what her mom has done, right? We get that Eva knows she's the only one in town who will back her mom. Despite Leslie using her daughter to help enact her savage plan of revenge, Eva has never been able to write her mother off completely. After the Monday, September 8th episode of Beyond the Gates, it seems like their bond is stronger than ever. Ted tricked Leslie, who felt defeated and vulnerable in a way we hadn't seen her before. Eva fell for that since she sided against her father. Why? Ted engineered a scheme, and he didn't tell Nicole about it. But no worries. She sussed it out fairly quickly and was able to play along. Ted told Leslie that he would give her his house as long as she didn't buy the mansion across the street from Anita and Vernon's home. And in doing so, she would help him stick it to Nicole, who wanted a divorce. Of course, Leslie couldn't be patient. She hightailed it to Nicole's so she could, in essence, kick her to the curb. It was her pleasure to try to throw Nicole out of the house, despite the fact that the psychiatrist hadn't done much of anything to her since Leslie came roaring back into town. Well, Nicole did try to choke Leslie that one time. While Nicole didn't know about Ted's plan, she quickly got on board. She gave Leslie a verbal thrashing that was long overdue. Leslie didn't take Nicole's verbal beatdown well. It made her feel like she was this small. And on top of it, the house across from Vernon and Anita's was no longer in play. She showed up at Eva's hotel room, licking her wounds. Too bad Ted was there too. Dana couldn't believe she got played. Meanwhile, Ted showed no sympathy. As far as he was concerned, Leslie got what she deserved. Eva didn't see it the same way. Ted humiliated her mother and put her in a no-win situation. Ted schemed and actually won this round, but that's not how Eva saw things. She could only see things from her mom's perspective. That she has come into all this new money and has just as much right to live beyond the gates as anybody else, which she does. But she didn't see it from her dad's perspective. It wasn't just his life Leslie destroyed. The focus of her attack was as much on Nicole. Leslie didn't take it easy on Nicole. In fact, she humiliated the woman in front of the whole anniversary party. And Leslie didn't take the normal approach of trying to find a Fairmont Crest mansion on the market. She tried to bulldoze her way to living across from Anita and Vernon because she wanted to be in their faces. It's like Eva doesn't remember what else Leslie did to get payback against Nicole, like running down Laura and then trying to kill her in the hospital. Instead, Eva was more than disappointed in her dad and threw him out of her hotel room. Everyone needs an ally, and it's good that Leslie has Eva. But there are times when Leslie shouldn't get sympathy. This was one of those times. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.